see a cool studio? Have a look at this. Boom. Street Life Studio, Fürth, Nürnberg, Germany.
Up here you see the bass drum signals we recorded through a fixed console, however through analog console directly into the DAW at 96K 32 bits, and we used the same setup now for a whole week, sampling other drum kits, wooden bass drums, whatever. And in the end we did our testing with the 3D printed bass drums and came up with the following sound examples. And can you explain to you how we actually came across? We used a D112 and a PCM inside, and as good as we could, always positioned it at the same spots, so we could actually have a comparison. We used different dampening, which is more dampening, half dampening, and no dampening at all. And Ollie also used filled up the cavities, or however you want to call it, in the shells with material. So we also have differences there. And so we can show you actually now what we have. The first one is the ABS, did you say?
ABS, black ABS.
Okay, and this is without any fillings. So it's the empty cavities in the shell, and with maximum dampening to the extent where I would normally not go so far. But that would be the sound. Which obviously is quite tight. We used the same setting then with filling up, so we wanted to create more power and filled up the cavities in the shell with granulate.
Yep. Aquarium granulate.
Okay. If that makes a difference, I doubt it, but it was, it was quite massive.
Yeah.
So
about 25 kilos we put in there.
Yeah.
Nearly. Yeah.
So that makes a slight difference. The dampening is the same as in the one without the filling, and it would sound like this. It has a slightly deeper sound and a little bit more tighter of an attack, which I would expect with the filling in place. We did the same now, the same bass drum with the filling and with no dampening. Which all would give you exactly what you hear, a lot of reflections inside, which come from the shell itself. I was suggesting to Ollie to maybe try out some diffuse material on the inside, or the surface, make the surface diffuse. To what extent? So certain frequencies would not be reflected back onto the microphones that much would be a matter of testing and seeing, but that might help in that regard. But this is the example without any dampening and with filling. We then went on to with the filling and actually put back some of the dampening, which just happened not touching the beater head, but basically covering parts of the inner shell. Okay, that gives you a slightly more open sound, more attack, and that's about it. We then change to a different bass drum. Which is
Next bass drum was the carbon fiber bass drum.
with half dampening, no filling. So in the beginning, in the room, all the bass drums kind of sound not so exciting in the room, but work quite well in the recording department when there are microphones in there. In the room, there might be some design changes which need to be done to make it sound in the room a little bit more bigger, in quotations. That would be the idea. So that is the carbon sound. Which is, for my subjective, strictly audible presentation that I hear, a more suitable sound for my kind of music, which is more in the rock and heavy department. But it has more of a low end, which means to me that the shell is more stable. It doesn't let that much frequencies through the shell itself. And this is the sound, so I think that would work quite nice. Still, we, thinking about changing some stuff to the extent so it becomes a little bit more prominent in the acoustics of a room. White.
ASA.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Pretty close to the other ABS one was solid printed, yeah. And this one has an infill pattern.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the lightest drum.
Okay.
Because of this infill pattern that just reduces the mass on the inside.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And you can hear that. I think so. Yeah.
Definitely in the direct comparison. Then there's the acrylite one. Which we also used. Is that a printed one? I don't.
No. This is acrylic.
Acrylic. Okay. So which had no dampening.
Yeah. The hollow shell.
Yeah, which gives you this, almost the same result as the no dampening 3D printed ones. Mm-hmm. If you go for a half dampening, let me put it like this, a slight dampening, you can get rid of all the resonances that happen in the shell itself, obviously. So that would sum up the testing we did. I'm now going to play all of the sound examples right behind each other, so you can actually maybe hear the differences in sound that are happening during our testing. Okay. We recorded the Black Forest wild pig set, as it was referred to me by a drummer I work quite frequently with, which had the honor to check it out before, and was really bragging about it. So we got it in. I got in contact with Ollie and got it in for our sampling library, which is gonna hopefully someone will hear at some point. But it sounded really, really great. We have a pretty sophisticated setup for doing our samples, so we had a really great result, which we came up with in the last 4 days, sampling it in different configurations with different drum heads. We then went on and were testing the 3D printed bass drums, which in the room we were kind of, that's gonna be tough to beat the sound from the wooden ones from Black Forest drums, but surprisingly in the microphone department it came out very, very close, and this gives us quite some perspective and good hope that in the future, when the design is finished from the 3D printed ones, we're gonna be able to match it up 100%. Now we are, I would say, about 85 to 90%, which is pretty cool. During our sampling session, we also sampled an old, from the 80s, an old Sonar signature drum set, which we also were able to compare to the 3D and the Black Forest drums. Of course, the Black Forest drums is very, very close. I mean, it comes down to taste, but it's a fantastic drum kit, which definitely, in my department, beats a signature set in itself. With the 3D bass drums, as we said, we were also very close to the Black Forest drums, and also very close to the Sonar signature set. So I would say, when the design is finished, it should be a match. Thank you very much.